Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the three veterans again, part two. So we've got Maggie Dawson, Elsie Collins, and
yes,
and Doris Knowles. So they hopefully will give us some recollections of their early days. All three lived in the village, I'm correct? Elsie,
yeah,
not
it's Snailing Lane, yes.
You lived in Snailing Lane,
not
right?
Hawkley.
Okay.
Yeah, I was Hawkley.
Yeah. So, first thing I want to ask is, does anybody remember things about hop picking?
Yes, I do.
Go on then, tell us a bit about hop picking.
I think I was about 11 when I used to go down with Mum down to Oakshott. I'd have an umbrella to pick in. Mother would have the big basket which held 7 bushels, and they were paid 6pence a bushel. Good. And of course Mum used to fill up from my umbrella. But one day Mr. Mundy, who was the pole puller, who used to take the hop down if it got stuck, he called out and he said, everyone stop picking. Well, my mother carried on picking, and he came over to Mum and he said, did you hear what I said? She said, yes, I heard. But she said, when your wife over there stops picking, I'll stop picking. She was very strong-willed. Well, Doris knew Mum. Yeah, she was very strong-willed. But they used to bring up a lot of people from Portsmouth, and they used to live in the sheds down at Oakshott. And I can always remember going down there, me and Zoe Windsor, we cycled down there one evening, and of course they used to have a great big bonfire in the middle, and there was one old lady from Portsmouth. She'd be sitting there, grey hair, elderly, and she'd be smoking a clay pipe which was like that. Yeah. So that was the hop picking for us, you know, but it meant that I had a new dress, new coat, new shoes, lovely. 3 days.
Where were the sheds? You referred to the sheds.
Well, it was opposite the kilns.
Oh, right, okay.
Over on the left. And they just used to live in there.
But there was used to do the hops on the stilts.
On the drawing?
Yeah, no, they're putting a walk on the stilts to get to the hops.
Oh, right.
Heather's husband worked there when it was Dewhurst.
Right.
But Mother and Mrs. Knowles and Mrs.
Mrs.
Windsor
Franks.
and Mrs. Franks, they all used
Mrs.
to go.
Budd.
And they used to, I don't know about Mrs. Budd, but they used to go down and train the hops up to grow up, yeah.
Because I met somebody, somebody who lived in the village a long time ago, and he said that when the hop picking was on, the children weren't allowed to walk outside the pub because there were so many fights going on outside the pub.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was. Because we lived up there by, number 1 Pocock Lane as it was. I mean, we were right by the pub, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember any fights going on outside the pub?
I think there was, but I mean, I had to stay indoors. I had to stay in with them.
Excuse me, they never get too much to drink.
I was 2 years old when I came up here.
Wow.
And Dad, how we came to come up here,
So how old were you when you were sent into the hop fields?
I was about 11 because it was the holiday from the school. That's what that was.
Yeah. We've still got hops growing in our garden.
I wouldn't be surprised,
You
Mary.
see occasionally up the telephone poles as
The
well.
house next
That's
door
where
is called the Hop Garden.
That's where Jock White used to live, who was the foreman. They had that house built for them.
And didn't Mr. Pride become the foreman then to Frida's husband?
The only experience I
I
had
don't know
of
about it.
hop picking was at Selborne, with Lord Selborne's, and Mother used to get us all ready to go hop picking, and I used to say, you go, I'll cook for you while you're gone, because I hated every minute of it. So I was allowed to stay home and clean house and cook the dinner for when they came back.
What did you hate about it?
But the luxury of going out into the hop field was the fact that there was horses and carts. And when they loaded up the big pockets, if you were good, you were allowed to have a ride up to the kiln and back, which was the biggest treat ever. And if you were lucky, the apple orchard was just across the road, so if you were lucky, you could just sneak over, get an apple and ride back. But I hated every minute of hop picking. I just would not do it.
Oh, I loved it, Doris. I loved it. Mind you, your hands were black by the time you finished. But I loved it.
Did you work in the hop fields at all, Elsie?
No, not at all. My granny did, but
Right.
I knew all about it at Selborne. I saw it, the hops growing and that.
Well, Selborne used to have a special camp purposely for travellers. I won't call them gypsies, but they were travellers.
Yes, they were on the side, weren't they?
Yeah, and every Sunday night it was a treat. We always used to take a walk and go right round the camp and see all the campfires and see them all cooking on there.
And where was that exactly in Selborne?
By Temple Turning, if
That's
you know.
it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it,
Right,
wasn't it?
on the
Yeah.
corner there.
Which
Yeah.
is now an apple orchard.
Yeah.
But so that's where the camp used to be. That's Selborne, not Hawkley.
Yeah.
So but that was my
You used to get
experience.
us a teleman too, didn't you?
A tallyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
round, yes.
Yeah. And that was pole pullers,
Yes,
wasn't
selling.
it?
Yeah, there was the pole puller.
Selling
Yeah.
things.
But
yeah.
Mr. Mundy was the one because he lived down at Lower Green, Eames Lane, I think
Yeah.
it was. They lived.
Well, when my mother-in-law used to go down
Yeah.
and start the hops off, whatever it was called.
Well, they used to train the hops,
That's
Doris.
it,
There
yeah.
used to be all of them. There was Mum, Mrs. Knowles, Mrs. Windsor, Mrs. Franks. They all used to go down and
yeah,
do
there
it.
was a lady from Steep and her daughter.
Oh, there
used
was Marge Welland.
to- and
Marge Welland,
yeah,
she came
that's
from
it.
Priorstein, I
Oakshott.
think.
No, Oakshott.
Oh, was it? I
Because
wasn't sure.
she was Larry's cousin, I think.
Oh, was she?
Once
She-
removed.
I can remember her, Doris. I mean, that's going
She
back
was a
some
good
years.
lady,
Yeah.
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 But, no, I hated her. But mother,
What other childhood memories have you got then? We've had Mr. Whittington killing your pig in the garden.
Oh, he was a lovely
That
man.
was the last one.
Yes.
He was
So-
a lovely man.
Yeah.
Pussy. We always called him Pussy because his surname was Whittington. So it was all right.
Oh, right. Because
But-
he was a great big guy, wasn't
He was a big
He
man.
was a
Big man. But he used to come up when Dad had the two pigs, because I think I told you that they had the two pigs, but because Mum was allowed to have meal to mix with all the potato peelings and all the rubbish, they had to give one pig up for the Ministry of Food.
That's right.
That
Yeah.
was during the war.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
That's it. But I can remember up in that house, peacocks is it called?
Pocox.
Yeah.
Pocox.
In the scullery, because there was a big beam like that and two hooks, and I can remember that pig being hung there,
Yeah.
you know, because Mum used to have a bungalow bath, you know, the big bath. She'd have that with this near boiling water, have the pig, and she used to scrape all the hair off of the pig. And then all the different liver, all that was eaten, and
put you off pork for life.
Mum used to put a lot in
And of course they
brine.
didn't have fridges to keep all the
Can I tell a
eggs.
story about pigs?
Yeah, go on.
then, Tony.
M-Shop used to have a flower show and fete. And
Oh, yes.
the big thing of the fete was bowling for a pig.
Yeah.
And it was a live pig. And if you knock the skittles, 9 I suppose, or whatever, less number, or the more you got, you took the pig home. A friend of mine called Mr. Newins, who lives on Stairs Hill, they won it regularly. They used to spend pounds on, you know, trying to knock the skittles over so that they could take the pig home. And there you go, that's the farmers are Mr. Young. Who went a bit
Oh,
back
that's
into
it.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Young, that was it,
He
yeah.
used to donate this pig. People come from miles around just to bowl for the pig. They weren't interested in
And
the
it
fight.
was-
When the pig was, a lot of it was in war years, you see.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't it in the Honourable Mrs.
Baring.
Baring's garden?
I don't know. Yeah, it would have been up there.
Sparing
Yes,
then,
there's nowhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it's ended the pig story.
So Elsie, what do you remember about life in Snailing Lane when you were a youngster?
Well, lots of things. Well, we moved in there 1952 because Jim worked at the mill, so we had the cottage there.
At Gretton Mill?
No, at Snailing Lane. I lived by, it was a nurse's cottage, Ivy Bank.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I
And
lived,
how old were you then?
well, I was married.
21, I'd say, that's it.
He's asking me a question.
Well, don't worry about
Don't worry.
it. Don't worry.
Do you know, I can't tell you that one. I know it's 52, well then if I work it out.
When was you
I must have been about 26, I should think, when I moved to Snailing Lane. No, I was older than that, I think. I really can't.
Don't worry about
Does
it.
You take me by surprise, actually. And then Jim worked over the mill, Gretton Mill, and of course I always remember Hawkley Hurst people that was there. I don't know. No, it wasn't then. Not when we moved there. It was before that. The Clive Davises was there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, I can remember
And
that.
where did you work?
I lived. Pardon?
Where did you work?
Work.
Yeah.
Well, I was born. I worked over the mill, Gretton Mill.
Oh, right.
Not till we were married. I was married, of course, because that's when we moved to get a house because we couldn't get house at Gretton. So.
Uh-huh.
Was it Captain Corrigan then? Was it the Corrisons?
What my dad worked for?
Yeah.
He worked
Captain
for Captain
Corrigan, I
Corrigan at the
remember it.
Manor House. And then Mum and Dad moved away because Dad was on the farm there for 39 years, and they moved away. So then we had to get out of the cottage. Well, I had nowhere. I had to live with Mum when we got married. And anyway, we moved to Snailing Lane when Jim got the house. It's there, 52, and I was there till 1989.
Wow.
Yes, and I moved down where I am now.
Wow.
So, and of course, we were under Hawkley because Hawkley was for voting and for rates. So that's
Right.
how we were.
Yeah.
Is Hawkley because we were the other side of the hill. That's right, isn't
Yeah.
it? No, the river.
The river's
Because I remember
Yeah.
Tony. Yes.
Yeah.
And did Snailing Lane still have the best road in Hawkley?
What did she say?
Oh, right.
Did Snailing Lane have the best road in Hawkley?
Like it's got now.
It probably wasn't
Did
tarmac.
Snailing Lane have the best road in Hawkley?
No.
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 It
Was
wouldn't
it?
have
Was
been
it Tony?
No,
Especially that hill.
And it was fast traffic too from Hawkley.
it was straight road, isn't it?
Yes, it was really
Graham,
horrible. And it's all changed there because a lot of people are much different now to what
Yes.
it was, and everybody owns their own house more now, whereas.
So your cottage went with your husband's work?
Yes.
Did your cottage go with your husband's work?
Yes.
Ivy
Yes.
Bank belongs
That's
to
why
the
I'm
mill.
where I am now.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, Graham, do we know why Snailing has got such a marvellous tarmac surface? And Hawkley Hill is still full of holes.
No.
You don't.
Does anybody remember when the roads were tarmacked? When Snailing Lane was tarmacked?
No, I
It
don't
must-
know because I remember you.
Tippers Hill, that was just a gravel track.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes, because my mum used to come and see Mrs. Mailey.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Mailey.
Saying that,
Yeah.
well, I think I said last time.
And it wasn't
We didn't have
road then.
water and toilet weren't now mains wasn't until
Yeah.
1950 something.
Oh, right.
I remember Sally Maltby down at Doscombe telling me that the main road through to Prior's Dean went past her house at one time before they built the road that goes up through the woods.
Oh, right.
Back in, way back.
Yeah.
And that was because the Hampshire and Isle of Wight people who own the land there were doing some clearances, and the children and I went with her and Ruben and her children to help them clear undergrowth, and they know the history of that piece of land, and that was the main road past Salim's house, up through the woods to Warren Corner.
Yeah.
Do you
Yes,
remember
because
that?
I don't, but my father used to go and get papers,
Yes.
and he would deliver, and I
Oh,
think
right.
he used to have to go
Yeah.
all up through there
And so the-
to Warren Corner.
So the hill up through to Prior's Dean now,
No.
you know, is quite recent.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's new.
yeah.
Were people moving around in horses and stuff? Were there deliveries and stuff being done by horse, or
It's what?
were people using horses? Or
For
were
delivery.
Apparently there were 4 sets of horses from your house that was a grocery store. And
Yeah,
they
but that's
delivered
where my dad
Yeah,
worked there,
and
because he was the
delivered code.
baker.
Yeah.
He'd done the
That's right.
baking.
All the, I was told that the house next door to Tony had a glass front, and that was all part of the shop.
I think
Yeah,
it
that's
was. I think it
Yeah.
was. Wasn't it,
Lou
Tony?
Pound. Lou
The
Pound
bakery,
told
wasn't
me.
Yeah, it was the bakery.
Bread
Because they had the shop, and the bakery is round the back.
That's right. Lou Pound told me that
Yeah.
the whole of the front
Yeah.
across from your house through to Mr. Maggie's edge of the house had a glass front, and that was a shop.
There's a picture of that
Is
in,
there?
in
Wow.
the pub,
Really?
actually, on the pub wall.
Yeah.
So
So
I
Lou Pound told
re-photographed
me
that the
all
other
that.
day.
She said they had 4 sets of horses, and all the horses were kept behind our house.
Yeah.
We've got a big shed that was a hay barn, and Wood Hill was just a big barn, and the horses were all kept on that piece of land there.
Oh, right.
But then they
Yeah.
had an air raid shelter built
That's right.
down, and
Yeah,
that was used as a youth club.
yeah, yeah.
Well, there was
Not
one
in my
out,
time, I mean,
No,
I don't know.
but before
that-
then,
that
yeah.
my husband.
and the other air raid shelter was up there by where Jane Blower lives.
Yes, the school.
Because I can remember going down it, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Because we had to run, because the Battersea boys took the school over.
Yeah.
We were in the hut being schooled, but we had to, when the siren went, we had to run across the road and over into the air raid shelter there.
Right.
That's where you met the boys.
I hated it. I can't stand it then.
Was it claustrophobic?
Yes, very, very.
How, when the war was on, how often did the air raid sirens go off, as a matter of interest?
Well, when it was necessary, I
Quite a
suppose.
lot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, was it once a day, or was it
No,
once
wasn't
a
it?
week?
No,
or-
wasn't as much
Was
as
this
that.
when they were bombing Portsmouth?
Pardon?
Would this have been when Portsmouth was being bombed?
I should imagine so,
Because
yes.
there'd be some
Yes.
sort of
Well, we've had
Well,
raids, I would think.
They had 2 incendiaries up there at Uplands, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And was there a siren in the village?
Well, we
Was
had-
there-
Yeah,
Was
well,
there a siren?
well, I know there was a siren, but whether it come... Because you see, the searchlights were down by Newton Valence,
That's
weren't
right,
they?
down that way. Yeah.
Lower Green.
Yeah.
And
That's where the searchlights, because you could... Where you saw them, they used to put them on.
And I have a feeling Canadian soldiers were billeted down. There were some huts or something. In the back of my mind, I remember Larry telling me, but I mean, I don't know. So
Well, the Canadians were at Bramshot, weren't they? Because I
There
can
was a
remember...
hospital there. Canadian.
Yes,
Because
and there's a lot of them
Rita's
buried up
father
there.
worked in it.
There's a lot buried up there.
Yeah, that's right.
But I can now, crying on about the pub, now I can remember the Canadians being at the pub.
Yeah.
Oh.
And strangely
I
enough,
was-
there's another connection with Canada. You were talking about hop picking.
Yeah.
Doris Barber, as a small girl, she was telling me that she went hop picking down at the farm,
Yes.
where the Rigbys used to farm, and a lot of Canadian boys used to come hop picking, and she kept in touch with them when they grew up. And
Yes.
one of them was a medical doctor and all sorts
Yeah,
of things.
yeah.
They were quite middle class, upper class Canadians, how they came to be in Hawkley. Perhaps there's a connection between the airmen and the Canadian.
Pat Chapman, was she married a Canadian?
That's right, yes, of course.
And
she
never came back.
No.
She never came back.
Was Harry born out there?
Who?
Harry, he had a connection.
No.
Pat was his sister, though.
That's right, yeah, that's it. But Marion, she went over there because Marion was a sister in the hospital because she used to write, my mother and her used to correspond.
So there's quite a connection with Canada and Hawkley.
Oh yes. But Pat never came back. I can remember her because she used to love horses and
And of course Harry's mother came from up on the Wetham Hill way, didn't she?
Yeah, she lived along there by Doris Barber. Yeah.
Yes. But before that, when she was a young girl,
oh yes,
she lived up on
Wetham Hill. That's right. That's it. Yeah, because I think her mother and father, that was Lovesey's. I think that was their name. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Because I think
past Lady Trowbridge's.
Yeah, that's it. Up on the. That's where they lived. There's two cottages up there.
Yes.
Because I think he had a couple of dogs.
About it.
I think he had a couple of dogs, and he used to walk up to the pub. Going back some years
Do you
here.
want to say something, Tony? Tony?
Before my time.
Oh, right.
Is it?
I thought that's what you...
No.
So
What are your reminiscences, Doris?
Well, I didn't come to Hawkley till about I think it was 1948.
Yeah.
I came to Hawkley with the old cottage.
Yeah.
No, they were lovely days, but I mean, the children used to come down here and play, and my three went to the local school with Miss Collins. And
Miss Collins.
Miss Everard.
Miss Everard was lovely.
She was a lovely teacher. She was
Miss
very
Purdon
good.
was my teacher.
And they belonged to the church choir, and we just generally joined in the village.
So there was Miss Everard.
Yeah.
And there was Miss Collis.
Yeah.
Miss Purdon was before that.
And Miss Collins lived with her parents in the cottage next to a school up there, wasn't it, Tony?
Yeah, school cottage, yeah.
So that's, But Miss Everard was a
The name was
wonderful
Collins,
teacher.
not Collis.
Collins, N, not S.
Yes, I remember.
Could I ask another question? Sorry. When was the school built? Because wasn't there a school in front of the church? I'm sure Doris Barber had a picture.
Yes,
there was an old picture of it. Yeah.
Really? I was way back
The
then.
National School was knocked down in 1905. It was condemned, and then they built the other school.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure of the date, but it was, it took over from the National School.
Yes.
So presumably they wouldn't have knocked down the National School until they built the other one. The other one was built on what was called the hop garden. Yes. Because that used to grow hops where the schoolhouse is at the moment.
At the moment, I see.
But when did the school close and the children go to Liss?
That was just
was that
before
something like 69?
Just before we came.
We came in 73.
Iris and Ivy and their husband bought it all.
I think you ought to sit here and then you could be...
Well, no, it was just that I love social history, so I've spoken.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember talking to Lou Pound's auntie and Doris and Lou and all the... Even Mrs. Shorter. Everybody remembers Mrs. Shorter, I'm sure.
I remember.
It's a fascinating subject, social history, rather than all the history of politics is boring. But the social history of how people actually lived.
But it was good fun up here. I mean, there was always something going on.
Yes. But then there were a lot more people in the village who worked in the village.
Yeah.
Talking about the original school picture that Doris showed me, it was huge. And there was a much, much bigger population, because of course the first war then knocked out a generation of fathers, and there weren't so many children in subsequent years. And that made a huge difference, and of course industrialisation and people commuting and people being more mobile. Had a huge, even a bicycle made a big difference to a country person.
So how often would you go to Petersfield or something like that? Would you go to Petersfield?
My mum always went on the bus, but we used to walk from here to Liss and catch the train if we wanted to go anywhere. I mean, but I always had a bicycle. And
Jim used to walk from No Hill down to Selborne School with one Russell.
My mother and my aunt used to live at Strood, Petersfield, and we, on a Sunday evening, we'd cycle over to Strood.
There was a bus
Never
once a
thought.
week,
Yeah,
Saturdays and Wednesdays.
that's right. Mum used to go in every
We used to get
Saturday.
at 9, I think, come back at 1.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then go again,
Yeah.
and back at 4, wasn't it? Go again in the afternoon and 4 o'clock back.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
That
didn't
was
know there
when
was
they
an
first
afternoon.
I know the bus rock.
That was when Charlie Cartwright
Yes, I remember.
had his
it.
bus with the wooden seats.
But they still run on a Wednesday, and if anybody at Hawkley wants to have a lift, they have to ring up the community.
That's right.
Well, once upon a time, I
Yes.
used to go because I didn't have a vehicle of my own, and on the bus there'd be Lou Pound, Nanny White, Priscilla, myself, and a child, and then Ruth Brown would get on at their house, and the bus was almost full, and this was every Wednesday because it was the only way for a lady, wife, to get out of the village unless you had a bike.
Yeah, that's right.
To Liz.
To Liss to catch the train, yes. And then they revolutionarily took us into Petersfield for £1, which was quite an advantage.
But expensive.
Yeah. But no, it really was quite. It was an outing, and that's in the 60s even. And
Well, if you went to the cinema, you never saw the end of the film.
no, oh right.
Oh, we did.
To leave
Or else you had to walk back.
Doris, we did, because Mum and I used to walk. We used to walk down and catch the train. Wasn't very often. Then we'd go to the pictures, and then we'd catch the train back, and we'd walk.
All the way home. While
Yes.
in the dark.
Yes.
Good heavens.
People say to me now, they
Yeah.
say, Maggie, who goes with you up to Hawkley where you go to the cinema
Yeah.
and that, and in the
Yeah.
wind? I said, me. They said, aren't you frightened? I said, that road doesn't frighten me at all.
No. You
I
know
said,
it.
touch wood, if I did break down, I said, I'd shout.
When
They'd hear me, would they, Robin?
They would.
When my girls first started work, Janet first worked at Liphook, but then they would cycle down to Liss and leave the bikes at Archie's garage down there and catch the train whichever way they went, and then cycle home at night. But in the winter months, either Larry or I would go down Hawkley Hill and walk back up with them because no way the
Well,
bikes
because it would be
come
so
up.
dark.
That's right. But if we
Was
had
the train service quite good then?
Sorry?
Was the train service quite good to Portsmouth
Yes.
to London?
They were better every half hour.
Was it really?
I
Oh,
know
that's
one
very
night
useful.
Janet was very late coming home and I was getting very worried. So I walked down and I met her where Johnny Hop lives now. And she was talking to some gentleman in a wheelchair. And anyway, that was a different story. But but I got rather worried. So every night after that, one of us used to go down and meet the girls from work. Just to go
Because
and
we
see
always
us.
said if the trains were handy like that, because we could walk from Liss to Snailing Lane. Because there's no,
But walking was quite normal. I mean, when I was brought up in Scotland and we walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, we
We
did.
we
Yes.
didn't have street lights,
Right.
but we all had torches.
Yes.
So walking was
No.
one of the things you did. It was normal. Yeah.
No, but when you got the children, you had to do something to walk back, to get somewhere back,
Absolutely,
walk back.
yeah.
Yes.
I used
But
to
tell me,
go.
when you lived here, was there a hall where you all met and had sort of dances and things
Village
like that?
Hall?
Yeah.
The old hut, as we
Uh-huh.
used to call it, yeah.
And what
And
entertainment did you have here?
Dear Mrs. Randall, she was,
Doris
she
Knowles.
lived at the Hawkley History, wasn't it?
Yes.
And
Square
she used
dancing.
to do square
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah.
So
It was
you can
hilarious.
imagine everybody sort of in circles and everything. And as soon as you stamped your feet like that, the dust
Yeah, but she was good, Doris. She was good, wasn't she? It was a good
And
laugh.
we used to have the local bands used to come and play
Yeah.
for dances, didn't we, Tony?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
he's,
and they
he's
were quite good.
I think
What
he's
was the
just
one from-
died.
Up Hillbrow used to come. What was his name?
Chris Bridger.
That's
Chris
it.
Bridger. That's
He was
the
the
one.
drummer,
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah.
and his sister was the
We
pianist.
used to have a lot of fun actually,
The third
and
one.
they always ran whist drives every Wednesday.
Right.
And
Yes,
at
I
Christmas
played
time,
up here.
yeah, I was going to say at Christmas time, if you didn't come early, you didn't get a seat. When it was whist drives, yeah.
Mum used to go, and big Ted Weston, who lived next door to us, well, he was deaf and dumb, and he used to come down, and if he lost, he used to get ever so cross, and Mum used to tell him off. Because she could speak the language. Mum could do the language.
I only played whist once. Larry persuaded me because he loved it.
I did
So
too.
he persuaded me to come down and play. And there was a certain gentleman, not Maggie's gentleman, another gentleman who always knew best. And it was my turn to play opposite with him, sort of thing. We sat opposite. And he said, now, you should have done this and you should have done that. Let me see your cards. So I said, there's my cards, you play them. And I walked out and I never played whist after that. I didn't like, I couldn't get into the cards, but
It was his attitude.
but
I
he
think,
just
Doris.
annoyed me so much.
Did
That was the
Beatty
end of
used
me
to come
playing
up
whist.
to the West, didn't she?
Sorry,
Did Beatty come up for the West?
who?
Beatty,
Beatty.
Mrs. Witt's sister.
No, she
She
didn't.
didn't.
Mrs. Witt did. Mrs. Whittington did.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
And
Mrs.
Mrs. Scott, she.
Yeah, Mrs. Scott.
Well, Mrs. Scott took over running it when this place was first built. They used to play in the lounge on a Wednesday night, and they used to have, I suppose, about 6 or 8 tables then.
Okay.
But
So when this was built in 69 or whatever, yeah, when this building.
yeah, there was still a whist drive then
Yeah.
every week.
That was still
Well,
running
lots of
when
us
we
used to
came.
go
They had it
around
in the
doing
old
that,
hut
go
though,
to
didn't
Hawkley,
they?
go to
Well, it was the recognised thing at
They had
Christmas
it in the
time.
old-
You had to
all
go
went
round
round.
to every whist drive there was.
hemp shot and all.
I mean, Larry and Charlie have even walked to.
That's what they
Bingo came and the
Oh,
whist drives.
You'd walk
But everybody knew how to play whist in those days.
yeah.
I
except
remember
me.
my father being a great fan of whist.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, Mum liked it too.
Have you ever had any film shows in the hall?
Yes,
That
we
we do.
did. Not as nice as they
Oh, of
are
course
now.
not,
It was
yeah.
on a different basis in the old hall,
Yeah.
and we used to have parties, children's parties, and everything. And WI, British Legion, Mothers Union.
So it's really the beating heart of the village.
It was.
My father was the one that started the British Legion because he was very much for it, and he used to he carried the standard twice in the Royal Albert Hall.
Doris, you've forgotten good companions. Good companions also.
Oh, we used to have really good parties. When Reverend Wright, he used to organise a lot of the children's parties.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely fantastic with the kiddies. He really was. And that they used to have such fun. And I mean, the prizes were, if you were lucky, a few sweets in a little bag. But then it didn't matter in those days. It was just the fun of enjoying everything. You used to have lots of fun in there.
He
As
was
I
the-
say, though, if you stamped your feet,
Dust came up.
poor old Hutton.
Elsie, what can you remember about the Gretton Mill?
Oh dear.
Because I've got a lot of pictures of Gretton Mill because I went round it the other day,
Yes,
and I
'cause-
photographed it, and it's virtually complete. The roof's starting to go, but the mill itself is virtually complete inside.
Yeah, what I remember, when the mill wasn't working, when Jim went there to work,
Right.
but when he went to work one morning, it started up. And then I don't know he must have stopped it and then a lot of people that were interested in that sort of thing,
Preservation.
I've lost the word.
historical group,
There will be the people interested
Yeah.
in the
In the mill.
yes.
What sort of grain did it mill? Was it oats or barley or what? Do you remember?
Do you remember, Elsie?
Don't know, because I think my dad used to go down and get something from there with his horses and that from.
So it would be horse food.
Yeah.
It
I
was
don't
a corn mill.
It was a corn mill, oh right.
Yes, but I don't remember that.
Yeah,
but
the wheel is still there.
Wow.
The control systems for the wheel,
Yes.
bits of that is still around.
Yes. Yes.
But most of the actual pond and the actual waterways are actually filled in now.
Yeah.
they filled it. Somebody has filled it in. It wasn't filled in when. I forget the last people that were there. Not the last. The ones before. John Graves. It was all open then, and the back way was to the back of where the holidays was, because the holidays thought it was theirs, but it wasn't. It belonged to the mill, but they've filled that in the garden at the back. I haven't been down there for a long time now, but
because the Holidays lived there, didn't they?
at the farm.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Did it belong to a farm then?
Pardon?
Did it belong to the farm? The mill?
No. That was separate.
Right.
That was, and it
This
all
was
went.
probably before water rights were
I'm trying to think who was at the mill before. I can't.
established. Because now you can't
When,
touch a
when you get
waterway
home, you'll
without
think of all
permission.
these.
Well, you
things.
see, didn't know I was going to be asked questions. I might have been organised for it. And of course,
Well, you can always come again.
it's a job to remember, isn't it, Tony? But I remember you.
No, I remember
No, it was lovely.
the pond at the back, because further up the fields towards Hawkley History, there was a dam, a big handle used to wind.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
To
To
shut the
let
river
the
rather
water
off,
through.
to divert it to
right.
Brecon Mill. And those
So
boys
did-
used to wind that up.
So
And
was,
they'd walk
was
down
the
other way.
water from there actually drawn up to Hawkley Hurst to use then? Because
No.
Hawkley Hurst has to.
Well, there was a
Or
river
did.
down by, wasn't it? It started up
They
the
had
top
their own
there,
pump
little
down to
river.
That was it,
overhang of
yeah.
Hawkley History.
Yeah.
Little-
No, I know. I can't remember their names. They used to say we had to pump the water, and now when Elsie said that, I just wondered if it was.
The Brecon
pumped
Mill
up
was always
from-
run by water, by the diversion of the river.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
So they had to let the water through to the mill to get the wheel to move, presumably. They would have to open the sluice.
Well, there was always water there when I was there. 49 I went over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Because it's an overshot mill, it's an overshot wheel.
Right, yes,
So it
with
goes
the water
over
coming in the top.
over the
yeah.
top of the
Yeah,
wheel,
yeah.
which is like Hawkley Mill was.
Yes,
an
used to be.
overshot wheel as well.
But where's the spring? In the bottom of the hill, is it before the hearse?
Did you live down there then?
No, I'm just curious as to
Oh,
where
I thought
the
by the
water
way you were
came
talking
from.
that you lived
No,
down there. Sorry.
I've read
I misunderstood.
a
Well, it's
little
from the Rother.
from the Rother. Wow.
From the
Goes-
Rother, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah. The
So
spring,
that-
the spring is just bottom of that hill. This hill
So
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you know where the spring is? Yes. It's
There's
interesting.
numerous springs.
Yes, because Fairwells is called Fairwells because it never dried up. So
Oh.
Mr. What's his name told me. Remember the banker fella? What was his name?
Know all about the floods, don't you, Tony?
The Oxleys,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
He
Yeah,
said
sorry.
that It was named Farewells because there was always a farewell.
Oh, they're lovely.
Yeah.
Hawkley was known for its watercress. The watercress beds down about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, that's what Heather was just saying.
Yeah, that's right. Someone ordered it, yeah.
So that was at Van Farm where the watercress was.
No,
When you go over the bridge,
not Van
there's a
Farm.
proper road, isn't there?
Down the farm, down the hill.
No, but it's just, you know where the little bridge is?
Yeah,
right
there's a
down?
little bridge there.
Yeah, well, you walked along that long
That's right.
drive,
Where
and the
the-
watercress was down there.
Yeah.
Where the women used to go down, Mum used to go, Mrs. Knowles, you know, it's all Mrs.
Towards
Windsor
the
and that.
waterworks, what is...
Yes,
Yes.
yes, along there.
Oh, right.
And
But
well, I went down
it comes
and
from
did
under
something.
the hanger, doesn't it? I believe.
The what, dear?
Doris?
We used to go down first thing in the morning, and Larry would, when it was in season, he would cut it
Yeah.
and plonk it all up.
Mrs.
And then
Shorter
you would put
told
it in
me that,
little,
yeah.
Yeah, Mum used to work down there.
Yeah.
and then it would be taken to Liz Station to go up to Covent Garden.
Doris?
Yeah, and then when the Witchards took over, they kept it going for a while. And then I think, you know, the market sort of dropped. And it was allowed to go. And then, of course, Anthony Egger decided that he was going to have a boat.
A boat.
A boat and a boathouse.
Yeah.
And it was all altered then.
Doris.
Doris, didn't Mrs. Shorter told me, remember Mrs. Shorter?
Yeah.
She told me that they used to go to the bridge there and pick the watercress.
Yeah.
Well, Mum used to go down there.
Yeah.
They used to, the women
Just,
used
you know,
to
with
go
the bridge,
down.
with tiny bridges.
Yeah,
But
Mrs. Shorter
the
said
old
she was
water
younger.
board
used to cut the
used
water.
are still down there now.
Yeah.
I think they still have to do it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Did you get much flooding around here?
Sorry?
Was there much flooding?
No, because it used to go right through to the mill.
Right,
The
okay.
water, and it was beautifully clean. You could drink
yes.
it,
Right.
and it was beautiful. It used to go right through from this end,
All the way
or
down.
more than halfway to the mill. And there is a public footpath through there if you can find it.
Okay.
Well, they all used to have that water going down Hawkley Hill, didn't they?
Yeah.
Coming out the
Halfway
bank.
down,
Yeah, where they.
From
Yeah.
Farewells.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But,
And then there's another spring down by Sally Mogby's way, isn't there? Because her water comes
Oh,
lots of
right.
springs
Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of
coming
stuff.
out of the chalk
Yeah.
hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a borehole.
Have you? Wow.
Well, originally, because Julian wanted to bypass, and when it was going to be a drought, so that he could water the garden. And when we had it done, I think it was 35 metres down,
Wow.
you have to have it tested, and it was so good that we use it as drinking water.
Good heavens.
That's
So you have
good.
to have something with a blue light, I don't know what that does, but it does something. But it has good advantages, it hasn't got chlorine in it.
when we had the big,
Ultraviolet
Yeah.
light.
It kills off algae.
Yeah.
when we had the
We've
big
got a fish
storm,
pond with that.
Yeah.
Not Clive Holiday, but the other one. What's the
Mark.
other of his name? Mark used to work at the farm, and because we had no water because of the storm, he used to go down and fill up a great big thing and bring it up so that I had water indoors. That was when I lived at Lower Green.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there was no. And Pat and Tim Mullen,
Oh.
that lives opposite, they discovered the old well and uncovered that and found water just to keep us going until the system was back on.
I was telling Joe
Again.
earlier that where our water purification system is, used to be the well for that pair of houses. And Lou Pound lived in my house when she was a newly married lady, and she had a independent rainwater barrel, and when the well was very low, her neighbour used to come and pinch her rainwater because he didn't have rainwater of his own, and he used to come and pinch it. She used to get mad with him.
And where's the well at your house?
Where our pump is now, where we have our own sewage system.
Oh,
That
right.
was a well.
Right.
And In your, yes,
It's in Joe's garden.
Joe's garden, yes. Yeah. No. But we shared it as
Graham,
well.
Gina's got one in her house too. There was a well there, and they filled it in.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Well, they didn't. I mean, it was done before Gina got there, but there was a well there.
Yeah.
Well, we had two down at Lower Green, but they filled them in for safety, you know, so, and they're sealed over. Well, because when Sally Hughes was down there, she said, "Now tell me where the wells were."
Yeah,
you can't really see a sign of it now, but I could guess roughly where they were.
Yeah.
There was no health and safety then.
No. Well, I can remember when they filled that one up by the pub. Because, I mean, Mum used to have to go down and get buckets of water to take up to the house, you know.
So most every house had access to a well somewhere.
Where was the well of the pub? Was it
At the side.
In the car
At the side, where they've got the...
where they park out?
They park up where they've got the old barrels. They stack the old barrels. It's up in there. That's where it was.
Yeah.
Maggie, your father was the baker. I'd love to know more about what kind of a working day.
He used to get down there for 4 o'clock to bake the bread, and then...
What kind of ovens would you have had?
I think they're still there. Nick, I think they're still there, aren't they? Are they behind you?
We've got an oven in our house.
But that's where he used to go. He's round by Nick.
But ours was
But
a
I
domestic one.
Oh no, this was like a big iron one, I think, that he
It looked like a
had.
big range, Maggie, was it?
It was like a big
it
iron
would be
thing,
brick,
a big door, you know, and
like
then he
that.
used to shove the bread in and
Right.
the lardy cakes and buns and all that sort of thing.
So
yeah.
what did he produce? It was mostly bread and rolls, larder cake?
Yeah, that's right, and all that. And the Hutchins were the name of the people, I think, that he worked for. And because he used to bake it and Dad could drive, they bought a little car. Graham's got it in his
In that
scrapbook.
picture,
He's got it. The little Austin, wasn't it, you said?
Yeah, Austin 7.
It's parked outside the house there, and Dad used to go and deliver all the bread.
Wow.
So he delivered it around this area, what, as far as Liss, or?
I don't think he went as far as Liss. But he used to go up Prior's Dean, and I said to Graham he used to go to Jerrystown up there. But Graham didn't know about Jerrystown. It's only supposed to be about 2 or 3 houses. It's a bit along, you know, Prior's Dean's there, and Jerrystown is a little bit farther along.
From the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the right hand
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
So your father must have had a very long day, breaking the bread and delivering it.
Yeah.
And did he have other people working with him?
No, he's on his own.
Just himself?
On his own.
Good heavens.
He was qualified though, because we came from Horndean.
And at Christmas and things, would he do things like Christmas cakes or not?
I really can't remember
He
that.
might have even done people's turkeys in written histories of social history. If there was a baker in the
Yeah,
village,
I can't
they
remember
often
that.
used to do people's big.
Yeah.
They have a big oven, so they could cook big.
Yeah.
Yes. Once the
I
bread
can't
was,
remember
Yeah.
Dad doing that.
No, but years ago they would have done.
So
Yeah.
how long was your dad the baker for?
Oh, I don't know, quite a long time.
What, sort of 20 years or more?
I don't know.
Were the ovens coal-fired or
No,
wood-fired?
they would have been wood oven.
I think it was wood.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
wood-fired.
Yes,
It was
wood.
what they used to do.
Yeah, it was wood.
We've got the remains of a bread oven
We've
in our
got a bread
house.
oven, but it's only for domestic.
It's just domestic one.
Yes,
And
yes.
the ironwork has long since gone, but you can see the curved roof.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's brick lined.
Yeah.
And then what they used to do is put the faggots of wood in to get the bricks really, really
Real
hot.
hot.
And then scrape it all out and then put the bread in a hot oven.
Yeah.
And that's how it cooks.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
that's,
a pizza oven.
but I can't
That's
remember
it,
exactly
exactly.
Dad.
Similar.
Can't
Similar,
remember.
But it's wood fired.
So how long were your parents there for?
What, at Hawkley? We would have come up here in 35.
Wow.
1935 we came up here.
Right.
and then, well, they was here until my mother and father came down to me in 1966 for the Easter, and my dad died at my house. Yeah, he died.
So they would have been in Hawkley for the coronation celebration?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they would have
So
been.
that must have been quite a celebration.
Yeah. I mean, because I was married and I was away, you know, different places. So there was a lot going on that I didn't perhaps, you know.
Wouldn't be here,
No. But, no, 1966, and then it was so much snow, we didn't even know whether they could dig the grave over here. Because they're both buried over here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But Dad and Mum lasted... She lasted 20 years after that, because I looked after her, because we gave the house up here, and Mum came and lived with me, and then I got her a flat along the road by me. Yeah.
Best arrangement.
Yeah, it was fine, she was good. Very strong-willed lady.
So your mother's recollections of Hawkley must have been amazing.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Over 30 years by the sound of
Yeah,
it.
definitely, yeah. She very sad when I was at school and my sister was waiting for me to tell me my brother had been killed.
So in the war?
Yeah.
What, the first war?
Second World War.
Sorry.
So would that be via telegram?
She had a telegram. Yeah. He's buried in Holland. I've been 3 times to the grave, but I'd like to go once more before I pop my clothes.
Yeah.
If I can. But the Dutch people, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, she lost him and also lost her brother because he went down on the mighty hood, Brian.
He went down.
Well, my mother's neighbour's son went down in the hood.
I've got a big picture.
Yeah.
Brought it in, didn't I, Brian, and showed you.
Book on it, anyway.
I've got the book. You gave me the book. Yeah.
But then there were thousands of men on it, weren't
2,000, I think, Brian.
Yes, pardon.
Yeah.
Tell Graham how you used to sit on the wall at Selborne and watch them run the horses up and down
I was going to say
Selborne
about it just now, Maggie.
when they used to be sold.
We, during the hop picking season, we lived opposite the Selborne Arms.
Yeah.
And the neighbour next door had a very tall wall. And after Sunday lunch, we were allowed to sit on this wall, and don't you dare get off. So, of course, when the pub turned out at 2:00, they used to have horse fairs like they have at Wickham now.
Really?
And the gypsies used to run the horses up and down the road.
Like at Appleby.
Oh, I was thinking of that. Lovely.
How amazing.
So they would be, did they sell the horses there?
Sorry?
Was it like a market they were selling the horses?
No, just the
racing.
gypsies used to
Sort of
swap horses
showing off,
virtually. They would, you know, I'm selling this for so many guineas,
Right.
and the horse used to have to run up and down the road
Ah,
just to see
it's
how
worth,
fast.
yes.
And they had these great big whips, which were, yes, but they never used them.
Right.
But they used to crack them, you know, used to frighten the lives out of them. But we were allowed to sit there and watch it. It would probably go on until about 4:00 in the afternoon. And it was tea time, of course, but yeah.
How many children on the wall?
Sorry?
How many children sitting along the wall? I want to imagine.
Oh, there could have been at least 6 of us. Not my family, but it was a recognised thing that everybody congregated. And
that wall is still there.
And that wall is still,
It's still there.
sort of, yes, but not
when
like
we go there, I imagine you sitting on that.
Yeah, because there were 6 steps down, but you weren't allowed to get down those steps. You were allowed to stay there, and that was it. But Saturday nights was even worse because when the pub turned out at whatever time it was, 10:30, I think, in those days, there was always fights.
Right.
Every Saturday night, you could guarantee there were fights. outside, and we used to sit at the bedroom window and watch these fights.
Excuse me, Doris.
Better than Doris.
Where did the gypsies come from? Where were they camped, or did they
Oh,
just
all
move
over
about?
the place.
Really?
A lot of them. Yeah, we got to know some of them, and actually, one remaining family lives down at Grittham. The Murphy family.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're the third generation, but they're not gypsy
Were
folk.
they,
No.
were they gypsies, Doris?
Sorry?
Were they gypsies, the Murphys?
The Murphy, the third, I think they're the third generation, but
Oh,
My father told me my grandmother was a gypsy, and her family came from Upper Croydon.
Good. Well, thank you very much for that.
Fascinating.